Beloved, how good the Lord is and what opportunity we have. During these times when we have been asked to shelter in, God has still made it available that we might bring ourselves together around His Word as people of faith and as a broader viewing audience. So I invite your attention. Come with me to the Gospel of Luke, the 10th chapter, beginning there with verse number 30, which read thusly. Jesus replied, a man went down from Jerusalem to Jericho. He encountered thieves who stripped him naked, beat him up, and left him near dead. Now it just so happened that a priest was going down the same road. When he saw the injured man, he crossed over to the other side of the road and went on his way. Likewise, a Levite came by that spot, saw the injured man, crossed over to the other side of the road, and went on his way. A Samaritan who was on a journey came where the man was, but when he saw, he was moved with compassion. The Samaritan went to him and bandaged his wounds, tending him with oil and wine. Then he placed the wounded man on his own donkey, took him to an inn, and took care of him. The next day he took 2 full days' worth of wages and gave them to the innkeeper. He said, "Take care of him, and when I return, I will pay you back for any additional costs." What do you think? Which one of these three was neighborly to the man who encountered thieves? The legal expert said the one who demonstrated mercy towards him. Jesus told him, "You go and do likewise." I want to think around this subject, loving your city and expanding the neighborhood. Loving your city or your community and expanding the neighborhood. A proper understanding of people and persons is really important in getting to what is motivation. Because motivation is that which drives us in a certain direction. And it causes us to steer, and I'd say even attempt to manipulate others to follow and go that way. Here in our chosen text, Scripture says that a expert in the Word, in the law, he comes to Jesus with a question. But brothers and sisters, if you have lived long enough, you have come to discover that not every question is innocent. In fact, some questions are baited in order to forward agendas and be serving for the person who's trying to turn you in a direction or manipulate you in some way. Take some discernment. Discernment is absolutely necessary if you are to be kept from being manipulated or snared by others who have agendas. And brothers and sisters, storytelling is a clear way of causing one to hear a message, to think through the implications, and then challenge the behavior. And that is exactly what Jesus does. He begins to tell this story. I love my Jesus because he effectively uses story in order to cause this man to raise some self-reflection about who he is, about his context, about his location, about his assumptions, about his purpose and his directions. The essence of the story is this, and those of you who are Bible readers, I believe you'd concur with me. The essence is Jesus is challenging us to see neighborhood and neighbor in a broader and in a larger context. He wants the Jewish family to see that neighborhood and neighbor is more than what the customs taught. It is all of humanity and in every place. In fact, I'd push it further. I think what Jesus is asking us to see is even places and those who are perceived as enemy can exhibit what is the nature of good and the nature of God. And that's a mind-blowing concept to some of us who believe that God is as limited and as little as we are. This story really challenges us to go outside and encounter God in other spaces and in other places and seeing in other people, even though risk may be required. I read it and understand it to say this: then and only then are we justified